right, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to continue the notes on from yesterday on the same worksheet or in the same place for notes. We're just going to talk about the distributive property. This one should be pretty quick. It's just kind of making sure that you understand. When it comes to the distributive property, the distributive property just says, hey, whatever number's on the outside, okay, of my parentheses, what we're going to do is we're going to distribute it, okay, all the way through. We're going to make sure it goes to everything inside. And so that's why we call it the distributed property, because we are distributing it. It's kind of like this. The reasoning behind the distributed property and why this works is think about it. If we go to like McDonald's, right, and you go and you buy and you decide you're going to get a number one. Well, a number one comes with right, a Big Mac. So we'll call it B. I don't want to write out the whole entire thing, Big Mac. And then you also, on top of that Big Mac, you get a thing of fries and you get a thing of drinks. Okay, you get a drink. So that's a number one. Well, here's the problem is, if you walked in and say, "Yay, I'm ordering for a whole bunch of friends and I want 6 of these," right? I'm going to get 6 number ones. You want to make sure that you understand that you need to check that, make sure that the people gave you exactly what you need. So if you think about this, if I wanted to have 6 number ones, what does that mean? What should be the total? Well, logically, you should know, hey, I'm going to get 6 burgers. I know I'm going to get 6 French fries, and I know I'm going to get 6 drinks. Okay. And really, that's what we're doing here. We're saying, hey, I got 4 of these 2x plus 2s. So that means I got 4 2x's and I have 4 2s. Okay. And so that's where the distributive property comes in, right? And the biggest mistake that people make is going back to over here. We know, hey, I should have 6 burgers, 6 fries, and 6 drinks. Here's the biggest mistake that people make. If I were to write this algebraically, right? It's the exact same thing, okay, that I have here. Okay, I just wrote it algebraically, right? There it is. What we do is when we multiply this, I would take this 6 and multiply it to the B. Here's the biggest mistake that people make is that they only go to the first thing. So now you go, okay, well, I'm going to go 6 times B. Well, 6 times B is 6 burgers. So I get 6 burgers. But then people forget, hey, I stopped distributing, so now I just have an F and a D. Well, that doesn't make sense. If you were to order a number one 6 times and you only get 6 burgers and 1 fry, 1 drink, you know something's wrong. So hopefully that kind of makes sense on where the distributive property comes from. It's just saying, hey, I'm going to have 6 of all of these, right? And then to double check to understand this, I know at McDonald's, I think it's like the number 2 or number 3 that you can get 6 or you get the double cheeseburger meal. So you have 2 cheeseburgers, you get 1 French fry and 1 drink. Okay, you see why I'm just putting letters for that instead of having to write it out. Well, if I now, here's where it kind of changes things, because now if I say, you know what, I'm going to order, so this is a number 2, I think, or whatever, number 5, it doesn't matter. But if I decide, you know what, I'm going to order 4 of these, right? Now this is where it kind of changes things, because now what we're saying is, guess what? I get 4 2 cheeseburgers. Okay, so I have 2 cheeseburgers 4 times. So really what that now says is I got 2 cheeseburgers plus another 2 cheeseburgers plus another 2 cheeseburgers plus another 2 cheeseburgers. All right, and so now when we add these together, combining like terms, I get 2 cheeseburgers plus 2 cheeseburgers. That's 4, 6, 8. I now have 8 cheeseburgers. So what we're doing here is, instead of having to write this out each time, what we can do instead is just multiply this. So 4 times 2 is 8. The cheeseburgers don't get any bigger. They don't become double cheeseburgers, so the variable stays. And then right here, well, I'm only getting 4 French fries because I only get 1 French fry with that meal. So now I get 4 French fries, and then I also get 4 drinks, right? Because I'm just distributing. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense using the real world properties of this. So we're going to jump back over here, and we're just going to do a couple properties, and then you guys will jump into your activity for today. So what we're going to do here for this example, guys, is we're going to look at the number in front. Okay, this number in front tells me how many of these I have, and you can think of the parentheses like a bag of food, right? So what this says is I have 4 bags of these. Really what we're understanding is I get 4 2x's and I get 4 2s. So what I'm going to do here to make life easier, instead of having to write it out like I did over here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to multiply this through. I'm going to take the 4 and multiply it to the number. So 4 times 2 is 8. Keep the variable the same. 4 times 2, or positive 4 times positive 2, that's a positive. 4 times 2 is 8. So now what I'm doing is now I'm breaking this down. When I get rid of the parentheses, this is what I should have left without parentheses. Okay. It's the exact same thing here. If I have this negative 2 parentheses 3x minus 9, understand that there is no plus sign here. Okay, there's no plus sign. There is no minus sign. So we know it can't be adding or subtracting. There's no fraction, no division sign. So it's not division. So we know now that this is multiplication. So anytime I have this, I must take this 2 and distribute it through. Now, please understand when we distribute for the distributive property, we have to take the negative with it. So it's going to be a negative times a positive. Remember, anytime I multiply, I do the signs first. A negative times a positive is a negative. Then I do the numbers. 2 times 3 is 6. Keep the variable the same. Okay, and then I'm going to go negative times a negative is a positive. Right? So I'm going negative 2 times negative 9. A negative and a negative becomes a positive. 2 times 9 is 18. So remember, I cannot combine these. We talked about that last time. You can think about it like this. You owe 6 bags of M&Ms and you have 18 M&Ms. These M&Ms are not in a bag, so you cannot combine those. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to do just another example, just add it because I know sometimes this does come up. If I get something funky like this, where say I get like a 4 on the outside here, okay? If you have a number behind it, it's the same thing. You could just go backwards and distribute. So now this will be 4 times 2, that's 8x, and then 4 times 4, which is 16. Okay, and then last but not least, one more example, just so you guys can see it, is something if I give you something like this, like 3x minus parentheses 2x plus 1. Okay, this is where a lot of people struggle because they take a look and they realize, oh, I'm going to take this 3 and multiply it. No, we take the thing that's directly in front. Okay, and if you actually read this problem, this is 3x minus this. So what you guys got to understand here is if there is not a number in front of the parentheses, but there's a sign, what we're going to do is always come in and add that 1. So this is 3x minus. It's not 3x times. This is 3x minus 1 times 2x plus 1. So anytime you don't have a number in front, okay, you can put a 1. Now I have this number and the sign. So what I need to do is distribute. Now, please pay attention. This does not go through. So I'm going to bring this down. Okay. Even if for some reason I had something, let me add something real fast just so you guys can see it. If I had this 3 on the outside, understand that this negative 1 only goes to the things on the inside. I'm not touching that 3 over there. Okay. So I just added that just so you guys can understand and see it. So I'm going to have 3x. Then what I'm doing is I'm taking the negative 1 times 2. A negative times a positive is a negative. 1 times 2 is 2x. Same thing, I'm going to go negative 1 times positive 1. A negative times a positive is a negative. 1 times 1 is 1. Now, I didn't touch the 3. Remember, I added that 3. I know it wasn't at the beginning, but I added it just so you can see. So you guys make sure this 1 does not go to the 3 because the 3 is not inside the parentheses. So what I'm going to do is just bring down that 3. Now, once the parentheses are gone, now what we're able to do, guys, is to now go and combine like terms because these are protected here. Okay, and I forgot to tell you that, but if you notice, the parentheses are protecting. So I can't go 3x and the 2x and combine them because the 2x is protected. So what I have to do first is get rid of the parentheses, and that's always in the main thing. Because now once the parentheses are gone, they're not protected anymore. So now I can combine them. So I have the 3x minus 2x, okay? Opposite signs tells me to subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. Keep the variable the same. Okay, and then I double check here. Oh, I have a negative 1 and a positive 3. They do not have variables, so that means I can combine them. Once again, opposite signs tells me to subtract. 3 minus 1, always big minus small. That's 2. So I know it's 2. Keep the bigger number sign. The bigger number is 3. It's positive. So boom. Okay, so that's really what we're going to be doing. We're just going to be focusing on distributive property and combining like terms.